Go with performance of the year. Think of all the performances this year. There's been a lot of them, all right? A lot of great performances. And we're going to go over them right now, all right? We're going to go over them, ladies and gentlemen. Performance of the year. First nominated. By the way, I have 7 of them, by the way. Just putting that out there. There's so many great performances. I couldn't leave it at just 5. Inoue decimates Fulton. By the way, look at that visual. That's out of a movie, bro. That was right before the stoppage. Fulton was a unified champion. Those that don't remember, I mean, he gave Danny Romano, a really good boxer, by the way. Just shut him out, give him a boxing lesson. Fulton was coming out victors over he was coming off a good win. In my opinion, controversial, but nonetheless, it was a good fight of the year candidate type fight. Beat a much bigger Figueroa. Fulton was doing his thing. Beat Leo a couple years ago. I mean, he's been doing his thing, and he was by many considered the best fighter of this weight class. And there's always questions like, okay, is this it for it? Like, is Inoue biting more than he can chew here? He started at 108. Now he's going to go to 102. With these smaller guys, but we got to keep in mind that the body mass percentage, right? It's just the pound matters more down here than it does in the higher weight classes. It's a much bigger deal. And Inoue goes to 122 in his very first fight against a unified champion, right? I'm expecting a pretty competitive fight where I thought Inoue would win a decision, 8-4 type decision. Fulton doesn't win a round. He just decimates him and just destroys him. And there's no other way to put it. He just styled on Fulton and made it look easy. It was kind of scary to watch. And Inoue did his thing. And Inoue was going in here, by the way, with critics saying things that he's going to get exposed. He's a hype job. Watch when the American beats him. Like, a lot of this stuff was being said. He goes out there and passes it with flying colors. And by the way, going into the match, I mean, all the unnecessary. You're going to see a theme here. Whenever guys have great performances, people come up with the craziest conspiracy theories. Oh, he stacked his raps and all this other crazy nonsense. It was the rapping was perfectly legal. Plenty of fighters stack, if you want to call it that. But it wasn't stacking anyway. Inoue's raps were perfectly legal, and that is that. Okay, I just want to put that out there. All right. And number 2, bam. Not a sunny day. You've had a lot of sunny days, my friend, but you still can't get the job done, right? Look, shout out to Chicano Prophet, by the way, that came up with it, and I just stole it from him. But another shout out to him. He don't do shows anyway. You know what I mean? That was my reasoning. But here's the thing. Shout out to him. But nonetheless, Bam Rodriguez did his thing. I actually, speaking of Chicano, I was out there. I watched the fight with him, by the way. Great performance by Bam. And many expected a clinic by Edwards. Oh, Edward, the movement. And Bam doesn't know how to cut off the ring. And this, that, and the third. And Bam goes out there and just completely has no problem at all with the footwork. Edwards couldn't do anything. And he just outclassed him, quite frankly. Damaged his eye. And just put a beating on him upstairs, downstairs. Edwards obviously had his moment. He's a good fighter, right? But Bam overall put on a hell of a clinic and I think established himself as the very clear-cut best 112-pounder, the best flyweight on the planet, bar none. All right? Zhang runs over Joyce. Now, let me tell you something. Picking between, shout out to Jesus, by the way. Picking between the first fight and the second fight was kind of tough because he just ran over Joyce. So I'm actually going by the second fight. Even the first one could be nominated too, but it was a little competitive until it wasn't. That second fight, he just ran over Joe Joyce. I mean, I couldn't believe he just knocked him smooth out. But before that, every time he touched him, Joe Joyce just looked hesitant. He was just rocking him all over the place. I don't know what happened to the Juggernaut, but the Juggernaut got. The Juggernaut got. Okay, I mean, shout out to Zhang. That was a hell of a performance. I'm just going to put that out there. That second fight. All right. You tell me you were more impressed by the first fight or the second fight. Tim Tszyu pulverizes Tony the Tiger Harrison from Detroit. By the way, this fight was in Australia. No Limit promoted the fight. It aired on Showtime here in the United States. Tim Tszyu pulverizes Harrison, completely annihilates him. Now, I know what you'll say, but he's lost before. Keep in mind, Harrison has a win over Jermell Charlo. And I believe was winning the rematch against Jermell until he started to showboat. Then he got caught and knocked out. Many expect. I remember a lot of American fighters. Okay, one of them being Errol Spence, specifically saying Tony's going to outbox him with ease. It's not an upset. This guy ain't ready. He ain't ready for the Americans, and the Americans this and the Americans that, and you ain't ready for America. This guy's an Australian. Don't you understand? Tony Harrison came out of a vagina in the U.S. Don't you understand that makes him better? And he goes out there and remember I said about conspiracy theories? So they were saying there was something wrong with the water. I think Jermell said the water made him weaker or some dumb shit like that. I don't know what that was about, but what made this impressive to me is not the fact that Tim won or even that he stopped Harrison, although that adds to it. It's the fact that he was completely shutting out Harrison and made him look every bit of old that people said he was after the fact. He completely dominated this fight and pulverized Tony Harrison. Harrison was not winning the fight, then got knocked out. No, he was getting pulverized and then got stopped by a series of unbelievable uppercuts, by the way. Here's another one. Oh, we know the Canelo fanboys are going to be mad at this one. I'm just kidding. Don't get emotional. Like, I'm just being an asshole, but shout out to Corey Lee, by the way. Daniel, how's it going? Let me know what do you guys see? And look, Benavidez destroys Andrade. Just completely goes out there and annihilates him. I was hearing Andrade was the boogeyman. Andrade's going to outbox him. He's more athletic. He's faster. Benavidez is flat-footed. All the shit I was saying. But anyway, Benavidez went out and just beat the shit out of him. Like, you know what I mean? This was a good old-fashioned ass whooping. That's what it was, okay? And when Andrade tried all his dumb tactics, bending below the waist, he got hit behind the head and complained. The ref told him, hey, don't bend below the waist, right? Try to hold. The ref didn't let him do it. He had to fight. God forbid these guys are forced to fight because it's a fight game. You know what I mean? You want to watch Greco-Roman wrestling? Greco-Roman wrestling is an actual sport. Right? You want to watch throwing, all that? There's judo. There's Brazilian jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? We've got all types of stuff. But Andrade got the Andrade beat out of him. I'm just going to have to call him Andrade. Okay? Like, I mean, Benavidez whooped his ass. There's no other way to put it. Right? And it was all she wrote, rearranged his face. It was an absolute beatdown and one of the best performances of the year. Maybe the winner of the year. I don't know. Uh-oh. The Canelo fanboy's going to get angry at this one. All right. Crawford annihilation of Errol the Truth Spence. That's Bud Crawford. Crawford beat Errol Spence so bad that even the people that picked Crawford to win got it wrong. What? What do you mean? Like, even the people that picked Crawford to win by stoppage got it wrong. What? Even the people that say Crawford, because most people were saying, oh, it's going to be competitive for 3 or 4 rounds, and then Crawford's going to take over. And then he's going to beat his ass. Even y'all got it wrong. You were so wrong, you want an apology to Bud Crawford by how wrong you were. Like, right? Because Crawford controlled this fight from the very start. Like, round 1 was a feel-out round. After that, it was all she wrote. The ass beating started from round 2. The jab was landing in round 1, by the way, but that jab was like a piston in this fight, right? It was countering Errol Spence all night, beating him. He was first. He was countering when Spence was trying to get back at him. And when Spence would pick up the pace, when he would turn it up, Crawford turned it up even more. And the harder Spence came, the harder he got hit. The harder he tried, the harder he failed. The more he got up, the more he got knocked down. He was getting beat up so bad. Crawford went over and looked. He looked at your man, like grabbed his crotch, and was like, "You're next, motherfucker!" Like while he was beating up Errol Spence. I was waiting for him to get out of the ring and beat up this dude. This was an absolute annihilation. It was so bad, people are questioning if Errol Spence was ever good. Oh, was Spence ever good? He was ever good. That's how bad he beat him. I'm just saying. Lastly, Teofimo Lopez. I'll get the graphic back up here, but Teofimo Lopez. Oh, by the way, speaking of conspiracies, yeah, people came out, oh, the gloves. He did something to the gloves. Have to be. He did something to the glove. That's why he beat Errol Spence the way he beat him. So we got the water in Australia, we got Bud Crawford's gloves, and then the wraps of Inoue, right? I don't know. There's probably conspiracies for the other ones too, by the way. I just want to put that out there. So look, Teofimo outclassed the lineal champion, 140 pounds, Josh Taylor from Scotland. Teofimo Lopez was coming off 2. Look, he won the fight. I thought he won the Martin fight. Some people say he did it. I thought he won, but Martin was being too negative in that damn fight. Y'all like just do what? Because he was running around the ring. Like y'all just want to give him the fucking fight or what? Oh, that was defense. Defense. The dude did like 4 miles around the track, bro. Like, what do you mean defense? You avoided engagement. Plus, I thought Teo pulled it off. All bullshit aside, I thought Teo pulled off a very close decision against Frank Martin. I also thought the fight before that he won every round. Like whatever. But we weren't seeing vintage Teofimo. Like remember, like do I still got it? Like all that. Like we were questioning his mental state going into the fight. And he's going in there against a big favorite, by the way. Very important. And Josh Taylor, the lineal champion. Many consider still undisputed because he never lost the belts. But nonetheless, I believe, what was it, WBO? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong about the belt. I believe it was WBO and lineal on the line. Teofimo goes out there. Round 1's like, okay, like almost every fight. It's, feel out what's going on. Teo won the round, and then Teo just kept winning the rounds. And we're like waiting for Josh Taylor, like, okay, maybe round 4 he's gonna like pick up the pace, and he just couldn't keep up with Teofimo Lopez. Point blank. Teofimo Lopez just showed he was at a whole different level, and he was locked in. And we saw vintage Teofimo, and he started showboating and everything in the second half of the fight, and Josh Taylor couldn't do shit about it. He tried. And Josh Taylor's a good fighter, bro. I'm just telling you right now, Josh Taylor is a really good fighter. But Teofimo Lopez gave him a boxing lesson. He outclassed him, right? In a very probable performance of the year, given the fact of how big of an upset it was, and given the fact of how he surpassed all expectations This was a great performance by Teofimo Lopez. This performance was so good, people put him back on the pound for pound list after this. And they're like, oh, we got to put this dude back in. I'm like, how did he lose to Kambosos, bro? I still maintain it was something. I don't want to make excuses, but I think there was something wrong with Teofimo that night when he fought Kambosos. Not to take anything away from Kambosos. That's not Kambosos' fault. But I just got to put that out. WBO, thank you. So what is the performance of the year?